a battle turning costly and deeply personal. In Bint Jbeil, Israeli forces face fierce resistance. Commanders wounded, ambushes unfolding, and troops caught in deadly close quarters fighting. Hezbollah holds the line, Israel takes losses. This isn't a swift victory, it's a painful new chapter, and the fight is far from over. Israeli forces are taking heavy casualties in southern Lebanon as Hezbollah fighters hold their ground in the city of Bint Jbeil, turning streets and buildings into killing grounds. According to reports, a lieutenant colonel from Battalion 52 was seriously wounded during close-quarters combat near the town's old market. Israeli media described it as a painful new chapter for the unit, with the officer becoming the third consecutive battalion commander to be wounded since fighting in Lebanon began. According to the Israeli website JDN, the officer had only narrowly survived an ambush 2 days earlier when an anti-tank missile struck a tank belonging to his unit.
It is an unprecedented situation, with repeated leadership casualties as part of an ongoing and costly attack in South Lebanon.
The battalion, part of Brigade 401, is now operating under what Israeli media itself called an unprecedented strain on its command structure. On the same day, Hezbollah fighters lured an Israeli unit into a house and detonated the building with the soldiers inside. Israeli media had reported the incident as a security event without elaborating. It was a well-planned ambush. Israeli forces have so far failed to reach any key position inside Bint Jbeil, including the municipal stadium, a site carrying deep symbolic weight. It was there, on May 25, 2000, that Hezbollah's late leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah declared Israel frailer than a spider's web after Israeli forces withdrew from southern Lebanon. 10 soldiers from Battalion 101 of the Paratroopers Brigade were wounded overnight in close-range fighting, with 3 reported in critical condition. Military helicopters ferried wounded from the front throughout the day. Facing sustained losses, Israeli forces have scaled back their deployment and are now using remotely controlled unmanned vehicles to probe resistance positions rather than risk further casualties on the ground. When Israel attacked Lebanon and Hezbollah in context of the current war, they wouldn't have expected a tough fight in their expansionist campaign. However, for now at least, Hezbollah is holding its ground, but for how long, that remains to be seen. At least 10 Israeli soldiers have been wounded in intense clashes with Hezbollah fighters in the southern Lebanese town of Bint Jbeil, with 3 reported to be in serious condition. According to the Israeli army, the soldiers of the Paratroopers Brigade were taken to a hospital and their families were notified. The IDF said that 3 soldiers were listed in serious condition, 1 in moderate condition, and 6 were lightly hurt. Earlier, the Israeli army said on April 13th that 8 of its soldiers were wounded when an explosives-laden drone targeted its forces in southern Lebanon. It reported a total of 154 officers and soldiers injured in southern Lebanon since April 9th. Bint Jbeil, a Hezbollah stronghold, has been the focus of IDF operations in southern Lebanon in recent days. The operation is part of a broader effort to weaken Hezbollah's ability to launch attacks into northern Israel and establish a security buffer along the border. Hezbollah, for its part, continues to resist. The group has deployed rockets, drones, and anti-tank weapons against Israeli forces, targeting troops both inside and around Bint Jbeil. Reports indicate ongoing skirmishes and ambush-style attacks, slowing Israeli advances and underscoring the group's entrenched presence in the area. The broader conflict is also escalating beyond the town. Israel has carried out extensive airstrikes across southern Lebanon, while Hezbollah has continued launching rockets into northern Israel. The violence comes despite ongoing diplomatic efforts, with talks between Israel and Lebanon facing resistance, particularly from Hezbollah, which opposes negotiations without a ceasefire. Bint Jbeil's significance goes beyond immediate military gains. Often described as a symbolic center of Hezbollah's resistance, control of the town carries both strategic and psychological weight. Its capture would mark a major blow to the group's narrative and operational foothold in southern Lebanon. For now, the battle remains unresolved. Israeli forces are advancing, but Hezbollah continues to fight back. With casualties mounting on both sides and no ceasefire in place, Bint Jbeil has become a focal point in a widening conflict that risks drawing the region deeper into prolonged confrontation. Hezbollah has launched a large-scale wave of coordinated drone and rocket attacks, targeting Israeli military positions and settlements across the northern front. According to the group, operations centered on the use of FPV and one-way attack drones, deployed in swarms against troop concentrations, barracks, and command infrastructure. Multiple Israeli positions came under sustained attack, including Kiryat Shmona, Metula, Misgav Am, and Dovev, with combined drone swarms and rocket salvos targeting both military sites and troop gatherings. Hezbollah said drone swarms struck key installations such as the Kiryat Shmona barracks, Avivim barracks, and the Amiad base near the Sea of Galilee, alongside troop concentrations in Shlomi, Kfar Giladi, and Nakura. A separate coordinated FPV drone operation targeted 6 high-value sites, including troop sleeping quarters, command and control rooms, and operational tents across Yiftah, Beit Hillel, and Margalil. The group also released operational footage showing drone swarm strikes on Israeli positions in Even Menachem and the Kirbet Ma'ar area, indicating an expansion of precision drone warfare tactics. Simultaneously, artillery units shelled Israeli troop positions in southern Lebanon, including the Blat site, while drone strikes ignited fires at elevated positions such as Al-Owaidah Hill near Odaiza. On the Israeli side, the impact of the attacks was also felt in civilian areas. According to emergency services, a rocket barrage targeting Nahariya resulted in casualties. At least one woman was wounded after a rocket struck a residential building, with 6 other projectiles intercepted by Israeli air defenses. The scale and coordination of the attacks suggest a shift towards sustained drone swarm tactics, combining reconnaissance, precision targeting, and saturation strikes to overwhelm defensive systems. As both sides intensify operations along the northern front, the battlefield is increasingly defined by unmanned systems, raising the stakes for escalation and testing the limits of air defense in a rapidly evolving conflict. Israel's military says it is on the verge of capturing one of Hezbollah's most symbolic strongholds in southern Lebanon, marking a potentially significant turning point in the conflict. The town of Bint Jbeil, long considered a center of Hezbollah's power, has been the focus of intense fighting in recent days. Israeli forces, led by the 98th Division, have encircled the area and launched a coordinated ground offensive, aiming to dismantle the group's remaining infrastructure. In addition to Division 98, Divisions 162, 146, 91, and 36 are operating in southern Lebanon. According to the IDF, the operation has already dealt a heavy blow to Hezbollah's presence in the town.
The troops eliminated more than 100 terrorists from the Hezbollah terror organization in close-quarters combat and from the air, destroyed dozens of terrorist infrastructures, and located hundreds of weapons in the area.
Israeli officials say the town was first isolated to prevent reinforcements or escape routes before troops moved in for close-quarters combat supported by air power. The military claims hundreds of weapons have been seized and key positions, including the town's central stadium, have been captured. Bint Jbeil carries deep symbolic weight. It was here, in the year 2000, that Hezbollah's former leader Hassan Nasrallah declared Israel weaker than a spider web, following Israel's withdrawal from southern Lebanon. The current offensive appears aimed not just at military gains, but at dismantling that legacy.
Bint Jbeil. The year is 2026. Our forces control the space, destroying terrorist infrastructure and killing dozens of terrorists. Behind us are the residents of the north whom we protect. Before us are the national days that remind us why and for what we are fighting.
Several IDF soldiers have been wounded during the offensive in Bint Jbeil. On April 12th, 2 paratroopers were moderately injured in a Hezbollah rocket attack in the area. Israeli officials estimated that it would likely take a few more days to complete the operations in Bint Jbeil, during which the division aims to kill the remaining few dozen operatives there and locate Hezbollah infrastructure. The battle, however, is far from over.